as always, was talk about the DXY. Now, I've been very bearish on the dollar for a while. However, I do think we are in need of a retracement. So I'm expecting a bit more upside, especially due to how price is forming at the low. It's almost like a big consolidation, to be honest, but it's a big sign that says, okay, the momentum that we had from the past couple of weeks has kind of dried out by now. So I'm expecting price to eventually find support and see it move to the upside. We found support now. I'm expecting a push higher. It does look like price is having a tough time trying to break resistance, though, so perhaps we do get another drive lower. But my expectation would be eventually a push back up again. So with the dollar, I'm expecting at least some short-term strength, even if the bigger move is still short. I've mapped out a few areas where we could look for price to potentially find that next lower high and continue that bearish path. I've spoken about this level here as an area of interest around 104.5. And I've also spoken about this level here around 105.5 as well. So I like both of those levels. Again, depends how price is going to react there, how we get there as well. Whether I do look to short from those areas and find my confirmations. But for now, there's a solid daily levels, which can definitely provide some nice resistance. At the moment, like I said, looks like we are stuck on the 4-hour chart. So we'll see how price maneuvers from that. But it really depends. It really depends on whether we break that resistance initially or we come back down again, because that could be a nice bearish swing for a couple of days. So keep an eye on that. So far, our resistance is holding pretty well. And you might see a push back to 103.4-ish for the dollar before that retracement does come through. If I jump over to EURUSD, so pretty much the exact opposite of that to an extent. The way I'm looking at EURUSD is that we've kind of broken out of this bearish channel. So if I kind of mark it out, we kind of had a nice double top last week. So respected the high once, twice, and then we sold off. Again, we're lacking momentum. We kind of had price drop to the downside, but we are kind of forming a bit of support here. It looks like that support on the left is holding pretty well. So perhaps we do see another push to the upside for euro. Again, I'm still looking at price coming a little bit lower first before I do look for any long opportunities. Now, price doesn't necessarily have to come lower. It's just I want it to come lower so I can find some entries. If the market is bullish and far too bullish, it may just continue without me. But if we can have a pullback at least to the low here, which is at 1.077 roughly, then I can start to look for some opportunities. Preferably, I would like price to come a little bit deeper than that. I like the high here. It also was acting as support very well not too long ago, as we can see also there as well. So it's an area that daily chart has focused pretty well at. And if we were to get back there again, I think there's a good chance we do react and possibly see the next higher low. If I whip out the fib, from the low to the high, you can see it also lines up pretty well. It's a nice fib confluence. We've got the 0.5, 0.618 in those areas. So that's preferably where I'd like price to pull back into. Likewise with the dollar, preferably would like to see a pullback into this zone, 105.5. But we'll see. Maybe the market is far too bearish for that. But yeah, EURUSD overall very bullish on, expecting a lot more upside. Longer term expectation is pretty much a push back to the high here. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on this range there. So that's where a lot of momentum came from. So 1.1 would be the first kind of big level for euro. And then we can see how price maneuvers from that potentially do sell off. So yeah, EURUSD bullish, pound USD. Of course, the analysis with euro and pound is always going to be fairly similar, and it is, except I just want pound USD to pull back a little bit deeper. With euro, I'm at least looking for a push into 1.28. And again, I do have a second level, which I'm looking at, which is around 1.27. We had a brief range over here. Price consolidated a little bit. Really nice break to the upside, and we yet to retest that level. Likewise with the high here. Nice breakout, yet to come back and retest it. So some really nice areas to work with there for pound. Again, really nice push to the upside recently. Breaking structure here on the left, kind of giving us that big V-shaped pattern. So you got the impulse down, then another impulse up, breaking structure. So now the expectation is a correction and some follow through. Like I've been saying, pound USD could be looking to work its way towards big swing highs around 1.3435. Again, if euro USD is going to go and hit 1.1, maybe even 1.12, then we could be seeing price push back to 1.35 for pound USD as well. But of course, we can dive into that discussion later. In terms of the analysis for the next few days, next week or so, just waiting for price to pull back and then hopefully some opportunities around the 1.28 and 1.27 level. Again, looking at this as a bit of a corrective channel. We did have the breakout last week, but the thing is we're lacking momentum. A key thing when price does break out these channels, you want to see some really heavy momentum shortly afterwards, because that resembles that price is well and truly turning around. If it's kind of a corrective breakout and we break back inside, things get choppy at that point, and it might just turn into a big consolidation, to be honest. So we'll keep an eye on that, but not really interested at these prices anyway with pound USD. I want price to pull back a lot deeper. Over to dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, I'm still pretty bearish on this one. I did close my trade early last week around here-ish as price was breaking through resistance. I still do expect price to push lower. However, I'm looking to see if I can get a re-entry for the trade. If price can push at least back to 1.445 before I do find any entries, and then hopefully capitalize on a swing back into the low, which is 1.416. You can see we had a lovely high over there, which is where I entered. Nice push down, second lower high, nice push down. Price is still respecting the same support level. So I'm pretty much looking for a third move to the upside, another rejection, and hopefully catch a nice short, at least back into the support level here, and then hopefully back into the low here as well. Again, dollar CAD has made its way back into very, very big levels of resistance. As we can see here in the weekly chart, massive rejection over there, second rejection over there, and the third one, which could result in a lot more downside. There's a pretty big level over here on the weekly chart around 1.398, which I do think price has a pretty good chance of coming back and retesting. So that's kind of where I'm expecting dollar CAD to eventually work its way towards. But we've got some key levels to contend with first. So just wait and see what dollar CAD's next move is. Overall, the way I'm looking at dollar CAD really is we've got resistance above us, we've got support below us, and the market has just been bouncing between both levels. So if I'm going to get a good short on this one, I need price to be up high so I can get a safe stop loss, maximize my risk reward as well, and be able to take profit at that low. And then we'll see if we get the breakout from there onwards. But yeah, I'm still pretty bearish on dollar CAD, expecting CAD to gain a bit of strength as well. Of course, CAD's been so weak for the past few weeks, so I do expect it to become a bit stronger, which could help dollar CAD see some downside. Over to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, again, for this one's been pretty awkward. I'm not a big fan of the price action. I did say on my weekly analysis, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go do so. I did say if we were to have a push back into support, that would be ideal because I can get some stop losses underneath the low there and hopefully catch a nice reaction to the upside. At the moment, the way I see the market is pretty flat, so I'm not so eager to jump into anything just yet. I can see we're holding on to some support around here, which is doing a pretty good job at holding price. But it looks like overall, Aussie dollar is kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place. We've got some key resistance above us, which has rejected price a couple times now, as we can see, once, twice over there, which is why last week I was hoping to see a nice break of structure past that swing high. So a nice break of structure past that swing high, and then that would have given me some bullish structure to work with and hopefully some nice pullbacks to get involved with on a retest of the high or a retest of this high, depends how we look. But break of structure would have done a lot in terms of indicating Aussie dollar's next move. The fact that we respected the high and push down makes things a bit more awkward because we are now putting in lower highs, one over there, second over there. Of course, maybe this time we go and get the big break of structure and that will kind of point the direction for Aussie dollar for the next few days. something like that would be the play. But at the moment, we've just hit my mic there and completely just changed the time for it. The pair, and how that happened. There we go. So yeah, with Aussie dollar, we are respecting support, and because we are still respecting price swing highs as well, I would be careful about price doing something like this, which is another lower high and price coming back to respect some resistance and possibly another sell as well. So I'll be very, very careful of that happening. Which is why in terms of the long opportunities, I'll be waiting for price to make its way back into support or go and break structure to the upside, and then I'll try and catch the pullback afterwards. Either way, I've at least got momentum in my favor, or I'm right at a big level where I know price has got a good chance of turning around. USD, something similar as well with this one, although we did break structure. However, price did come back selling off pretty aggressively. So I was looking to see what price could do in the retest at this level here. Unfortunately, we did break through. So again, I'm being a bit cautious with USD. I still do have a bullish bias with this one. I'm still looking for long-term weakness with the USD. So that would kind of expect to see USD push in the opposite direction. However, the level I was looking for price to bounce from kind of didn't really happen. We broke through, kind of respected the resistance, and had a bit of a sell as well. So I'm being very careful here. Perhaps price is just having a deeper test of the consolidation as a whole before we do continue. But I don't really have a solid place to put my stop loss underneath. The plan was to see if we can reject the level, put a stop loss underneath that, and then use that to expect to move higher. So unless price was to get back above and start to respect it again, I'm probably just going to sit on the fence here against the USD. I am bullish, but I just don't have a clear-cut entry for it, which is where it gets a bit awkward. But what I see with USD is that we've got the double bottom down here. Price then broke structure to the upside, and then a higher low, and now a higher high. So the plan is another higher low, which perhaps could be forming, and another push to the upside. So that's the plan at the moment there with USD. In terms of gold, so gold overall still pretty bullish on. Looks like gold came back to retest this consolidation here pretty well. There was some minor support on the lower time frames, like hourly, 4-hour chart, which I said if price can break above, there could be some really nice long opportunities, which looks like we're starting to do right now. I'd probably wait for a stronger breakout, but it looks like we are making that happen. And there could be some nice longs back into the high because we had a really aggressive sell with this bearish candle. And if price can go and break the high here, that would basically tell me that, okay, this sell didn't really mean much. We just came back to retest bullish territories, that consolidation, which gave us the breakout. So that will tell me, okay, price is likely to push back to highs now and probably higher as well. So from an intraday level, there might be some nice opportunities there. I was still talking about price potentially coming back to retest the high over here at 29.50 and potentially the consolidation here as well. Those are the areas I'm liking. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, that's kind of where my confluence sits, around the 0.5, 0.618. So that's kind of where I want price to pull back into before finding some longs. If I'm looking to swing the pair, at the moment, I would only look to trade kind of gold intraday because we already had a really big move. I know gold is gold and we can still fly very far, even when we are pretty stretched. But still, I would wait for that bigger correction. And then, of course, we've got silver, which I really like silver this week. I'm really liking silver. Really nice pullback the past few days. I still want price to come a little bit deeper before I do anything with the pair in terms of looking for entries. Again, my expectation is still a swing back into the high here, just below 35. Expect price to go and take out that pretty soon. I'm looking to see if we can see a bit more downside, come back and test 32.5. Then hopefully I can swing it back into 35 and continue that trend. But yeah, the structure's looking really good. Momentum looks good. We've had some nice candle closures on the weekly chart, really showing us that momentum is still with the buyers. Now it's just about finding a good entry for the pair. So I'm hoping we can see at least one more drop test the area of confluence, and then at least a swing back into 34.19. But well and truly, I expect to see some new highs pretty soon after. Gold's, creating new all-time highs and then seeing a lot of momentum. Silver, we haven't really seen that too much yet, so I think it's lagging behind a little bit, and we are due a bit of a catch-up. So silver's definitely a pair I'm looking onto a lot. It is on the watch list. Very, very bullish on this one as a whole, just looking for a bit more retracement and hopefully find some entries later in the week.